Howdy, Spyro here. So you got Windows installed onto a hard drive and you want to copy it over to an SSD, or you're trying to make a backup of your whole entire Windows over to another drive and you want to keep all your data exactly the way it is. Well, there's a piece of software that is completely free that allows you to do this. It takes all the grunt work and all the, yeah, makes it pretty simple. First thing we need to do, this is a VM, so yeah, but it'll work for you. Let's go over to the internet. Go to Google. This piece of software we're going to download is, I don't know if that was all about, but I'll take a look at it later. Macrium Reflect Free. Just type it into Google right here. Click on that. When you type that into Google, it's the very first result. Macrium software, Macrium Reflect Free Edition. Click on it. Page here will come up. You got to scroll down a long ways, and right here is what we're looking for. Reflect 8 free. You don't have to buy it or anything like that. Just click on download free. You can register it or whatever. You don't have to. Just click continue, or just personal license continue. It'll start downloading it automatically. My internet's kind of fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and open the folder. We'll close out. I've had Macrium on the system before, but whoops, oops, oops. You fix that. My bad. Ignore that. My mistake. My mistake. I was meant to delete the folder. But what I do is I take this here and I always move it to my desktop so I can delete it later, because I always like to keep my downloads folder clean, because a lot of times anything gets downloaded on the internet, it's automatically downloaded to here. And plus, if you the more stuff you have on your computer, like in your recycle bin, in your downloads folder, the longer it's going to take. So what we need to do, we need to take Macrium, run as administrator. Yes, at this prompt here. What I always do here is the three dots, click on my desktop, new folder. Okay. You can title that folder anything you want. When that one prompt here was up, installer after download, then click download here. Let it download, which won't take that long. If you look and see what I'm doing, is after I get Macrium installed, these two here, I can always delete them later. So it makes things a lot easier, a lot simpler, a lot cleaner. So you don't have all these files and folders all over your computer that you don't need. Don't need that. Funny. We're trying to make a backup. Windows is prompting us to create a backup using the Microsoft Cloud stuff, the OneDrive nonsense. Yeah, sure. Okay, next here at this prompt, what it's doing, it's making sure you got the current and latest version. Okay, now it's preparing to install. Okay, then here, click next. I set the license agreement so you can sign your life away. Click next. We're using it for personal. Agree with the following. You have to check this box right here for it to work. Next. This here is just register it. You don't need to register it. Next. Maybe we do have to, which we're not going to, just for this time. Install desktop shortcut. This other nonsense you don't need. The Guardian, CVT, dboot. You don't need none of that, but the desktop shortcut I would recommend. Next. Install. let Macrium install. Which shouldn't take too long, just varies on your computer. There's the Macrium icon. Uncheck this for a reason for right now. I'm going to. You don't have to. But if you're going to use it immediately, then yeah. Finish. Now at this point here, Macrium's already installed, which you can see the new icon appear on my desktop. That's where we can delete these. Now, like I said before, your recycle bin, you want to make sure it's empty. And at this point here, while you have Macrium installed, you also want to go and check this PC and make sure your other drive that you want to clone is showing up. For me, it's not showing up. So I have to either A, check and make sure it's plugged in, or B, I have to go and format it, which I don't remember if I have it installed on my VM or not, so I might have to stop the video and virtually plug it in. But I'm going to show you, just in case it is plugged in, but it's not showing up here, of what to do. So right now I have File Explorer pulled up on this PC, and you see it's not showing up. That's the drive I'm wanting to copy, but the other one's not showing up. So what I want to do is go to here, right click, go to Manage, wait for it, go to Disk Management, and as you can see I got a 50 gigabyte drive that's plugged, that's got my Windows on it, but the second drive is not showing up. Now I'm going to go ahead and end the video here real quick, and I will be right back with my blank empty drive I want to clone Windows to plugged in. So I'll be right back. And we are back. Okay. After battery went dead in my computer, my laptop, just several things. I've recorded this video like 5 or 6 times, and every time something turns up. Either battery goes dead, or I forget to hit the record button on OBS. Okay. Well, anyway, let's try this again, hopefully for the last time. Well, I've just plugged in my hard drive, and what we're going to do, we're going to check and make sure that it's plugged in. So we need to go to File Explorer, this PC. If it doesn't show up here, that's fine. It's probably not formatted, so we're going to see if Windows is detecting it. So what we need to do, you need to right click on this PC, go to Manage, Disk Management. This here might come up. MBR is fine. MBR is perfectly fine. This here, you don't have to format it, but for this video I'm going to, because sometimes Macrium likes to be picky, and because if you format it, it makes it to where it's easier to show up for things. Come up, there's fine, that's fine. Just give it a drive letter, D for right now, it doesn't really matter. This is all fine here. This is fine, finish. Now it's going to show up. Perfect. Now, close out of that. Now, here it should show up. Got the hiccups. Make sure the drive you're trying to clone to is larger than the drive that you're trying to copy the files in Windows or Linux or whatever operating system from. For this case, the one that's got Windows on is approximately a 50 gig drive. The one I'm kind of copy stuff to is an 80 gig drive. So, plenty room. So right now, got that part situated. Let's open Macrium. What we're going to do, I'm going to run as administrator, just eliminate some variables. You don't have to, but I like to because it eliminates any issues you could have with the software, because some software is pretty picky. Here's a part where it can get a little confusing to some people, because I've seen where people tries to run Macrium and they get mixed up here. You have your drives listed. You can select what drive you want. You're not selecting the partitions, you're actually selecting the drive here. What you want to do is you want to select what drive that's got Windows or Linux or whatever on. You want to select this drive here, which this drive up here is the blank one. So you want to select this one. You want to click on clone this disk. Okay, make sure that drive up there, the one you just clicked on, is it. Okay, select a disk to clone to. Select the drive you're wanting to clone to. There. Do not click next. You're not ready yet. You want to also copy the partitions. Now, if you would have not clicked on this, your drive would have showed up like this. You would have had approximately, for me at least, you would have had an exact copy, yes, but you would have all this storage here that was not being able to be used. That is something you do not want. If you got a bigger drive, let's say you got a 500 gig hard drive in your computer right now, and you just bought a 1 terabyte SSD, that means 500 gigs of that storage is not going to be used. You do not want that. So, I gotta do this again to show what you need to do. You need to select disk, that disk. Instead of just pressing next, you need to select copy partitions, then click on shrink or extend to fill the target disk. Now it's completely filled. And if you also look, your primary, your bootable, your C drive is also going to be larger. If you look, I'm using 19.3 gigs right now in storage. Okay. And 49 gigs of it usable. Okay. But after this drive here, I will have 79 gigs usable on this drive. Verse 49 if I would have just hit next. So that is something you need to do. So now after that, press next. You do not want to do any scheduling or anything like that, so this part here is not necessary. Click next. This here is just a review of what's going on. There's a step I need to go back for a second. Just for this video, you do not have to. I'm just going to do it just to speed the video up. I'm not going to have it verify for me, but verify for you guys, yes, because it's going to double check everything and make sure everything copied correctly. For me, since I'm doing just this demonstration, I want to make the video as short as possible without the extra variable to make the video longer, because I know you guys don't want to watch a longer video, yada yada yada. So there, next, this part here, which is just a summary of what it's doing, yada yada yada. There's fine, finish. Uncheck this box here if you get prompted, which is save a backup destination file. You do not need it. Just run the backup now. All right, because we don't need a config or whatever. We don't need that. Press OK. This will probably come up. This is basically making sure that that drive, that second drive that I was telling you, that D drive that we plugged in and formatted, It's wanting to make sure that that drive is empty. And it's wanting to make sure that, hey, whatever's on that drive is going to go bye-bye. There's no recovery once you hit continue. It's wanting to make sure. So check this box here and press continue. Got to make sure you check out boxes. If you press continue, it ain't doing anything. So make sure that box there is checked. Press continue. Now it's going to do its thing. This here can take anywhere between a couple hours to the matter of a few minutes. For me, I have a NVMe SSD, which I am cloning from an NVMe SSD to an NVMe SSD. So it's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy fast for me. It's going to be about 10, maybe 5 to 10 minutes for around 20 gigs of data. Yeah, but if you have a hard drive, or if you're copying from a hard drive to an SSD, yes, your SSD is fast, but your hard drive is going to be the slowest of the stuff you're transferring the data to, so it's going to take a long time. So be prepared. Now, at this stage, if you might get some windows pop up, like File Explorer might start at random, and it might go to the drives here that's showing up. Don't worry, just close out of them when they pop up. Back to this window. Try not to do anything on your computer while this is going, because if your computer is reading data or writing data, that's just going to make it that much longer. So if you're downloading files on the internet, you're playing games or something like that, don't do it. You're just making it where it's going to work longer. You're putting more stress on the drives. This right here is a lot of stress on the drives. That's not, you don't need anything more. You don't want anything to fail while this is happening. Because there's a lot of stress going on the drives right now. After this is done, you will have a window pop up in the middle of your screen. It'll say something about it's finished. Press OK. Then you'll have a button down here which says close. After you close out of them, you'll be back to the main Macrium window. All you gotta do is close out of Macrium by just clicking the X. Once Macrium's done, which it's at 62%. We'll see if I can drag this video on a little bit longer. See, this is one video, one pop-up's telling you about. Just close out of it. Right here, clone completed. That's what I was telling you about. After you get to this part here, press OK, close. Okay, now as you can see right here, it looks like to me it's a one-to-one copy. Just this drive here is larger. Okay, close out. Now close out of everything. Get to here. Now let's verify to make sure it worked. Real quick. If you go to File Explorer, this PC, as you can see, 2 exact copies. Just this one's approximately 50 gigs. This one here is approximately 80 gigs. Perfect. If we go also to manage disk management, as you can see here, exact copy with no blank space, which if we would have just pressed that one step, you would have an empty space here with some space where you couldn't use approximately 30 gigs. For me, at least for my drives. So right now, you can take the computer, shut it down, which I'm not going to for this video because I got a few other things I want to do on here. And unplug. And after your computer shuts down, you can unplug your other drive that you had Windows on, or Linux on, or whatever operating system you was trying to clone, unplug that smaller drive or your old drive, then you can actually boot to your second drive without a problem, either by selecting by boot menu, or your computer should automatically find the second drive and boot to it automatically. Hopefully this video helped. If it didn't, reach out to one of us on the server, one of the helpers, one of the moderators, one of the admins. Just obey the rules. Don't ping. Uh, you know. Hope you liked the video. Hopefully this helped. Have a good one.